Pickle, it's time for Math Tuesday.
Math Tuesday.
It's Math Tuesday. And so yesterday, here on this very program, we unveiled the covers of the 2022 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Do we still have the graphics?
I was just fixing to check that. No.
We don't. Okay. So the main cover features UTSA head coach Jeff Traylor and Texas Tech head coach Joey McGuire under the headline "Forged on Friday: How Texas High School coaches took over college football." And on the gatefold cover, the secondary cover, features the South Oak Cliff Golden Bears with the headline "Rise Up: South Oak Cliff Sparks an Inner City Revolution." And obviously cover reveal day, and the cover is a big deal for us around here. I think you guys know that. I think we've tried to make it a big deal, and it's something we take very seriously. It's something that we know is a big part of like the Texas football landscape and like what football looks like in the state of Texas. I'm not trying to overstate it, but like it's a big deal. Mm-hmm. It's a big deal, and I'm not afraid to say it's a big deal. So whenever we reveal the cover, it's adding a new member to the family. And it kind of got me thinking about what our covers tend to look like, what our covers tend to be over the course of our now 63-year. Hi, Chip.
Oh, Chip.
Hi, Chip.
That's an old photo of Chip, too.
It is an old photo. There you go. There's the main cover. Two other high school football coaches, Joey McGuire and Jeff Traylor.
Sorry, Chip, you were not on the
main cover. Sorry. We'll work on that, Coach.
Yeah.
And then on the gatefold cover, it was South Oak Cliff and the South Oak Cliff, the Golden Bears. Mm-hmm. So it got me thinking about what we tend to put on the cover. And one thing that I noted yesterday was that this was the first time since 1999, I believe, that we have two coaches from different schools on the cover. That's when Mac Brown from Texas and Dennis Franchione from TCU were on the cover together. So it kind of got me thinking a little bit about what our covers tend to look like over the course of our history. Mm-hmm. Now, before I dive into this, two caveats. One, we're only dealing with the main cover.
Yep.
Okay. And two, we're only dealing with the main cover image. Okay. So technically, this is not the first time UTSA has been on the cover. Mm-hmm. But that was the Gary Patterson cover in 2012 with an inset photo of Larry Coker.
Right.
I consider that, in my view, your mileage may vary, I consider that the Gary Patterson cover.
Right.
Right? There are some where it's obviously two players of equal, who are equally on there. Mm-hmm. We'll get to those. But generally speaking, if there's a main image and then smaller secondary images, I'm going with the main
image.
And
especially because I feel like obviously in your tenure as managing editor, we haven't had one of those little photos on something
I don't
else.
Like the insets.
So it's it's kind of not fair at this point if we're keeping that trend to go back to that.
I'm trying to kill the
I would say at this point you have successfully killed it.
Killed it. It's just to me, I like clean covers. Mm-hmm. That's what I want. I want.
And the story needs
to
be about the people on the cover. In my mind,
I don't want it to be jumbled up. And in the history, so here's another thing. I'm also not counting. There's a couple of other covers that I'm not counting.
Okay.
There are 4 covers that I consider to be composites.
Yes.
Okay. One of them was in 1995 when we did the Southwest Conference.
It's all the animation.
It's just all drawing. Yeah. Nobody's on the cover in my mind in that one.
No.
Okay. Another one that I consider to be a composite is 2002. That's when we had Cliff Kingsbury, G.A. Moore, Emmett Smith, and Drew Tate kind of all slammed on there. Mm-hmm. I just kind of consider that to be like an amalgamation and a composite. Mm-hmm. Same thing in 2004 when we had, I believe the only time North Texas has ever been on the cover.
Yep.
But there was North Texas, there was Tech, there was TCU, and there was Houston, who were all on the cover. But it was just kind of we're throwing a lot of guys on the cover. It didn't really have a rhyme or reason. Mm-hmm. And so to me, I consider that to be a composite. The other one is 2015. 2015 when we did the Play the Game cover with Play A&M versus Texas. I consider that to be a composite. The only other one that I'm ruling out of this conversation is in 1999. I don't know if you know this, but in 1999, they had the idea of spinning off a different cover to be sold out of state, and it had Troy Aikman on it. It's maybe the weirdest cover we've ever had. The headline, I'm not kidding, Go look it up. Like the alternative 1999 edition.
I didn't know this.
It has Troy Aikman on it, like against the Star, and it says like the headline is like, "Are the Cowboys improving?" It's maybe the worst cover we've ever done. And I get it. Like there were business people who were like, "What if we sold magazines outside the state of Texas?" Well, what's going to work there? I know, the Cowboys. But it's very odd, and so I'm kind of putting that aside as like its own different thing. Okay? So, all of that said, there are 60 60 other covers of Dave Campbell's Texas football. Now that we add them. Joey McGuire and Jeff Traylor, it's the 4th time we've ever had coaches from different schools on the cover. Coaches from different schools on the cover. The other times that it happened, let me sort my document here so I can tell you. The other times that it happened in first time it was 1986 with Jack Pardee and Forrest Gregg of Houston. It happened again in 1996 when we had 4 coaches on the cover: Chuck Reedy from Baylor, John Makovic from Texas, R.C. Slocum from A&M, and Spike Dykes from TCU. And then, of course, in 1999 with Mac Brown and Dennis Franchione in 1999. That's the last time that it happened. Actually, I think this is probably a good thing, but we've had at least one player on the cover of the magazine 46 times out of 60. 46 times out of 60. Normally, the most common is a single player. Mm-hmm. A single player. It's happened 28 times that we've had a single player that have been the main focus of it.
Yeah.
The most would be Texas, then A&M, and then Tech and SMU in tied for 3rd. The next most common would be multiple players. So, for example, when we had A&M on the cover last year, that's the first time we ever had multiple A&M players on the cover.
Right.
First time we've ever done that. But normally we've had A&M, TCU, and Houston with Gerard Johnson. Let's see if I can come up with this off the top of my head. It was 1990. Let's see. Players. That was when we had Gerard Johnson, Case Keenum, and Andy Dalton. In 2007, when we had Tommy Blake, Colt McCoy, and Stephen McGee. 2006, which is kind of weird because it was Earl Campbell and then all those high school players.
Yeah, that one was interesting.
A little bizarre. It's the only time Earl Campbell's ever been on the cover.
Which is also seems like a hole, but...
I mean, like, for example, LaDainian Tomlinson's never been on the cover.
Which is, again, surprising.
A lot. Anyway, so that's the second most common kind of cover. The third most common kind of cover is a coach, is one singular coach. We've had more A&M. We've had an A&M coach on the cover more than any other coach or any other school. When we had Jackie Sherrill back in 1986, we had R.C. Slocum back in 1993, and then we had Jimbo Fisher in 2018. One thing that I think is particularly interesting in this one is that we have only ever, and this surprised me. So 6 times we've had a player and his coach on the cover. Okay, 6 times we've had a player and his coach on the cover. That includes, let's see, 1963, Darrell Royal and Scott Appleton. That's the one that we recreated in 2016 with Cliff Kingsbury and Mahomes. Pimo. Lawrence Elkins and John Bridgers in 1964 up from Baylor. Jim Wacker and Kenneth Davis from TCU in 1965. David McWilliams, and Brett Stafford from Texas in 1987. And then there was Mac Brown. And then 1998, we had 2 covers. We had Dat Wynn on one of them, and then we had Mac Brown and Ricky Williams in 1998 on that one. And then we also had and then Cliff Kingsbury and Patrick Mahomes. The weirdest cover we've ever done, by the way, is 1978. 1978 is when we had Russell Erxleben and Tony Franklin. That's the kicker cover.
Yep.
That's the kicker cover.
Kickers deserve more love.
That was a weird cover, though.
I want to run it back.
I don't want to run it back.
I like the idea of kickers being on the cover. We just need to tweak
it. Nope. I don't love
Long
that.
snappers!
Don't love that. Here's what I found to be interesting. So, think back to 2014. 2014, we had Art Briles, Antoine Goodley, and Bryce Petty on the cover.
Okay.
2008, we had Cliff Kingsbury. We had Mike Leach,
Graham Harrell,
and Michael Crabtree on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
That is the only 2 times that we've ever had a coach and multiple players on the cover.
Yeah.
You would think that's an obvious thing to do.
Yeah, especially with the 3. 3 is a good number because it allows, from a photo perspective, it allows for a triangular effect. Kind of it gives a little 3D almost.
Yeah, it's balance to it. You can put one guy, coach and they're both the same. Mm-hmm. Coach in the middle, players off
on
to
the
side.
Yep.
I thought that was particularly interesting. And yeah.
Ooh, question. Yes. I know we're talking about main covers here, but on any covers. Is the gatefold cover, the sock cover, I'll pull it up real fast actually, is that the first time, is that the most people we've ever had on a cover?
That's, if you don't count the composites.
Composites, yeah,
right?
yeah.
If you don't count the composites, as far as a photo shoot is concerned, 10 people is kind of by far the most people we've had on a cover. I think the previous record was 4.
Yeah, with Earl and the 3.
Yes, and so back. Jason Todd and his staff plus
I know
all
that's
of the
gatefold,
players
but
from South Oak Cliff, that is the most we've ever had on any cover. That's like not a kind of the Southwest Conference or the composite type cover. That's the biggest photo shoot we've ever done is with 10 players or 10 people. So anyway, there you go. I found that to be a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
That this cover is definitely different, and it's definitely like a departure from what we normally do. We normally do not do 2 coaches from different schools, but we feel good about the decision.
If the shoe fits.
The shoe fits. It was the right story at the right time, and so we're happy to put Joey McGuire and Jeff Traylor on the cover. You can get your copy if you go to texasfootball.com/subscribe.
You know, the one other thing that I just realized that we didn't mention about the cover yesterday is the fact that you'll notice that both coaches are smiling. And I would say that that's not like a normal thing that sometimes we try to do a little bit more serious almost, like you want to look intense. But we to peel the curtain back, we took photos of both of them kind of mean mugging, and we're like, this isn't it. Like, they're both super happy guys. We've got to smile,
As far as a posed smile, that's the first post smile we've had since Gary Patterson in 2012.
Yeah.
Like, Johnny Manziel is obviously happy. Shane Buechele is obviously happy.
Yeah.
But as far as a posed smile.
But it was just so funny because they...
Sam Ellinger's smirking.
Yeah, but it's not a...
But that's not a smile. As far as
they look like
smile,
happy guys,
2012.
And
2012. And boy, before that, it's Michael Leach, Michael Crabtree, and Graham Harrell.
That's true.
No. So, anyway, there's a little dive into... the kind of things that we think about when we're putting together covers.
Tuesday.
On Math Tuesday.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you would like more and to be notified when they come out, go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there. You can also watch Texas Football Today every day live at noon on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, and right here on YouTube. For more of the best coverage of Texas football in the Lone Star State, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe.